Wait, you're a Bears fan and you're not subscribed to my channel? Before this video starts, make sure to 1. Hit the subscribe button below to catch all Bears content right here on this podcast. 2. Hit the bell notification because you, my friend, are a diehard Bears fan. And 3. Like this video and tell all the Bears fans you know about the channel. Alright, that's better. Now that you're actually subscribed to the channel, make sure to bear down and enjoy this video.
Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan. That boy is Benny Hunter. Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. You talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Happy Sunday. How is everyone feeling this morning? I know personally I am feeling great after watching the Green Bay Packers get knocked out last night by the San Francisco 49ers. It was a beautiful scene. Even though the Bears are not in the playoffs, watching the Packers choke once again in the playoffs is always a beautiful sight. And the best part about last night was watching Aaron Rodgers walk into the tunnel, which could possibly be the last time we see him in a Green Bay Packers uniform. And honestly, good riddance. He needs to get the hell out of the NFC North because I'm tired of watching him beat up on our Chicago Bears. So how are you guys feeling? Are you guys excited that the Green Bay Packers actually lost? I know it was a good day for Chicago Bears fans as everyone was really hyped up on social media about the Green Bay Packers losing. So in yesterday's podcast episode, I was talking about Ryan Poles getting a second interview with the Chicago Bears. And today, I'm going to give you guys my top 5 candidates for the GM job for the Chicago Bears and guys that I would be comfortable with the Chicago Bears hiring. I know for the longest time I've been focusing on the head coach, but now I'm going to give you guys my top 5 guys. And I know there's way more than 5 guys, but I'm not very fond of every single guy that they're interviewing. So I'm going to go through the top 5 guys on my list, not in any particular order, but just the 5 guys that I would really like the Chicago Bears to hire or at least take a look at in terms of their next GM of the Chicago Bears. So let's start out with number 1, obviously Ryan Poles. And the only reason why I'm doing Ryan Poles first is because he is the only one that is actually getting a second interview as of right now, which makes him a finalist for the Chicago Bears GM position. Ryan Poles is the Chief Executive Director of Player Personnel for the Chiefs. And obviously, if you guys watched my podcast video yesterday, I did a whole video on Ryan Poles and how he's been with the Chiefs for 13 years, how well he's been with the Chiefs in terms of his drafting success with drafting Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all those guys. He has been part of the Chiefs for a very long time, and he has a proven track record with the Chiefs. And he's made it through 2 GM regiments dating back to 2009. So I feel like that is pretty impressive, and that's also a sign that he is well respected within that organization. And if the Bears requested an interview the day after he interviewed for the first time, that tells you something about Ryan Poles. And obviously the Bears like the success he has had with the Kansas City Chiefs. The second guy on my list is someone that's in-house, Champ Kelly, the Bears Assistant Director of Player Personnel. His experience, he has been the Bears Assistant Director of Player Personnel from 2017 to present. He was also the Bears Director of Pro Scouting from 2015 to 2016. And this is a very solid GM candidate for the Chicago Bears, and he is in-house. He has been with the Bears for a long time. He has garnered a lot of interest from other teams dating back to last year. He currently has already interviewed for the Raiders GM open position as well. And he has a good understanding of how things work, not only on the scouting side, but also the executive side of things as well. Kelly is highly respected within the Bears organization. Obviously, if you guys seen or follow any of the Chicago Bears players, both Khalil Mack and Tariq Cohen have made it very clear that they want Champ Kelly as the next Chicago Bears GM. So, and that's important. You know, you want to make the players happy at the end of the day. And I would be ecstatic if Champ Kelly got the chance to be the Chicago Bears GM. He's put in a lot of work within the organization. And like I said, he's well respected within the organization. He has been instrumental in the scouting process and has served as a mentor for the young scouts that the Bears bring in as well. So I would be totally fine with Champ Kelly being the next Chicago Bears GM. And it's always good to promote within sometimes. Sometimes if you can't figure it out outside the organization, why not look within and promote a candidate like Champ Kelly? I feel like he definitely deserves it. Number 3, and this is a lot of Bears fans' favorite on the list, and that is Rocco Brown, the Colts Director of College Scouting. His experience as Colts Director of College Scouting from 2016 to present. He was also the Browns VP of Player Personnel from 2014 to 2015. And Brown has been a huge part in the Colts draft success, where he's developed an eye for scouting talent. He has been Colts GM's Chris Ballard's right-hand man. You can also add that he started with the Chicago Bears as an assistant director of pro personnel from 2001 to 2007. So I feel like he has extensive experience when it comes to scouting. He has a good eye for talent. And another thing I would like to add about Rocco Brown is the organization that he's coming from. Colts have a very strong organization. Chris Ballard is an excellent GM. And I would have the utmost confidence in Rocco Brown coming into Chicago and being able to put the right pieces around Justin Fields and hopefully take the Chicago Bears to the next level. Number 4, and this has also been a favorite from a lot of Bears fans, and that is Omar Khan, the Steelers VP of Football and Business Administration. His experience as VP of Football and Business Administration from 2016 to present. He's also been the Steelers Director of Football Administration from 2000 to 2016. While he is the only one that doesn't have experience in the scouting department, he's more than qualified to build a strong scouting department for the Chicago Bears. Khan's experience on the business side of things will be beneficial for the Chicago Bears. He is definitely a star on the rise, and he has been a hot commodity during this cycle as teams are looking for a brand new GM. And the Bears haven't always been very good on the business side of things. So you can bring him in, and I'm comfortable with him, like they mentioned, developing a strong scouting department and getting the Bears where they need to be. So he's a very strong candidate, and I've been hearing that he could possibly be one of the finalists for the next GM for the Chicago Bears. And this is one guy that's been on the list for a lot of Bears fans, and everyone's been putting it in the comment section on all my videos, and that is Rick Smith, former Texans GM, and obviously he was the Texans GM from 2006 to 2017. Not only does Smith have experience as a GM, but you have to give him credit for taking an expansion franchise and turning them into a playoff contender. And something to note about Rick Smith is after he stepped away for family reasons back in 2017, things went downhill for the Houston Texans. And obviously, he has a proven track record, which is something that the Bears can't say. So obviously, he was responsible for drafting Deshaun Watson, and that was a big step for the Houston Texans, right? He proved, he proved that he could be a solid GM. And I like guys that have a proven track record. And that's something that if he does happen to get an interview, which I believe he is scheduled for an interview, I feel like he should be an easy finalist for the Chicago Bears GM job because he has a proven track record and he has done it before and he has success doing it. And like I mentioned, when he stepped away from the Houston Texans, the Texans just imploded on themselves. They went downhill. That should tell you everything you need to know about Rick Smith. I know that is a huge favorite for the Chicago Bears GM job amongst Chicago Bears fans. So these are my top 5 guys, and I'm comfortable with any of these guys getting the GM job for the Chicago Bears because they each have a certain skill set that I believe that could work for the Chicago Bears. And like I said, there's some guys that may not have the scouting experience, but they have the business experience, right? And they can create that scouting department to get the Chicago Bears to the next level in order to survey talent. But for me, I would really like a guy that does have scouting experience, right? A guy that has an eye for talent and has a proven track record in doing so. But at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see who the finalists are for the Chicago Bears GM job. Obviously, like I mentioned, Ryan Poles was the first of many GM finalists for the Chicago Bears. His interview is coming up. But as expected, especially coming into this new week, I anticipate once the Bears finish up their first round of GM interviews, there should be a couple more finalists for the GM job. So do you agree with my top 5 guys that could be the Chicago Bears next GM, or would you like a different candidate? Let me know down below in the comment section. Like always, this is going to be a busy week for Chicago Bears news. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content around the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media channels, and make sure you share this episode to Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.